In the misty hills of Zululand, where the land was a patchwork of verdant grasslands and ancient trees, a legend was born, a legend that would echo through time and inspire generations of warriors. The story of the Zulu Impi is one of strength, unity, and unyielding loyalty, a tale of how a young prince, exiled from his homeland, rose to become one of the most fearsome and respected leaders Africa had ever known. This is the legend of Shaka Zulu, the king who forged an army so mighty that it would define the course of Zulu history forever. Shaka Zulu was born to the chiefs Nzengakona and Nandi, a woman of humble origin, and from the very beginning he knew hardship. Shaka's early years were marked by rejection and ridicule. His birth was considered a shame to his father's house, and as a result, he was cast aside. The scars of his mother's disgrace were imprinted upon him in the form of isolation, as he was forced to live as an outsider among his people. But within the heart of this rejected boy, a fire was kindled, a fire that would eventually consume the world. Shaka's exile was a crucible in which his greatest qualities were forged. Far from the warmth of his people's love, he sought solace in the vast wilderness, where he learned the ways of survival. His keen mind and unwavering determination became his greatest assets. During this time, he met the military traditions of neighboring tribes and absorbed their tactics. It was here, in the depths of solitude, that Shaka began to form strategies that would later make him the most renowned military genius of his time. When Shaka finally returned to his homeland, he was no longer the rejected boy, but a warrior with a vision. The once outcast prince now sought to unite the fragmented tribes of Zululand. But Shaka's dream was not just to unite. It was to create an army that could stand against any foe, an army that would bend to no one's will. It was in this moment that the Zulu Impi was born, a regiment of warriors, not only bound by a shared loyalty to the king, but by an unbreakable bond of brotherhood. The Zulu Impi was unlike any military force in the world at that time. Each warrior was trained rigorously in the art of combat, but it wasn't only their physical prowess that made them formidable. It was their discipline and their unity. Shaka Zulu introduced new techniques and weapons to the Zulu warriors, including the short-stabbing spear, or ikawa, which allowed them to fight at close range with deadly precision. Their shields, made from the hides of animals, were both protective and symbolic, representing their connection to the land and to one another. The Zulu Impi were more than just soldiers. They were an extension of Shaka's will. Shaka's leadership was absolute, and his warriors followed him with a fierce loyalty that was unmatched. They believed in their king not just as a ruler, but as a divine force who had been chosen by the spirits to lead them into battle. The bond between Shaka and his warriors was one of mutual respect and trust. Shaka would never send his men into battle without leading them himself, and the warriors knew that their king would always be there, at the forefront, guiding them to victory. What set the Zulu Impi apart from any other army in the world was their ability to move as a single unit, coordinated in their actions, and utterly relentless in their pursuit of victory. Their battle formations were crafted with such precision that it seemed as though the entire regiment was one living entity, responding to Shaka's commands with an almost instinctual ease. They did not fight as individuals, but as a collective force, each warrior knowing that the fate of the battle rested on the strength and unity of the entire Impi. One of the most iconic and defining moments in the history of the Zulu Impi came at the Battle of Isandlwana, where the Zulu warriors faced an army of British soldiers armed with advanced weaponry. The British, confident in their technological superiority, had underestimated the Zulu army. They believed that their firearms and cannons would easily overpower the Zulu forces. But they failed to account for the one thing that made the Zulu Impi unstoppable: their unity and the ingenuity of their tactics. As the British soldiers advanced across the field, the Zulu Impi lay in wait, hidden by the contours of the land. Shaka had taught his warriors the value of patience, of waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The British thought they had the upper hand, their guns ready, but the Zulu Impi had something far more powerful on their side: the element of surprise. As the British forces entered the range of the Impi, a deafening war cry echoed across the battlefield, and the warriors erupted from their hiding spots, charging with the speed and fury of a storm. The battle that followed was one of unrelenting intensity. The Zulu warriors, armed only with their spears and shields, swarmed the British forces with precision that left them reeling. They moved in tight, coordinated formations, surrounding the British soldiers in a pincer movement, rendering their firearms useless in the close quarters of combat. The British forces, overwhelmed and outnumbered, had no chance to regroup or recover. The Zulu Impi, with their unity and discipline, had dealt a decisive blow, and the British were forced into retreat. The victory at Isandlwana sent shockwaves through the world. It was a triumph not just of military strategy, but of the unbreakable will of the Zulu people. The Zulu Impi, though greatly outnumbered and outgunned, had proven that unity and loyalty could overcome even the most advanced technology. It was a testament to Shaka Zulu's genius and the bond he forged among his warriors, a bond that could never be shattered, no matter the odds. But the Zulu Impi's legend was not confined to a single battle. Shaka's forces continued to dominate the battlefield, sweeping across the land, conquering enemy tribes and expanding the Zulu kingdom. His warriors fought with a fierce determination, knowing that their cause was greater than any individual struggle. They were not just fighting for territory or wealth. They were fighting for their king, for their people, and for the legacy of their ancestors. As the years passed, the Zulu Impi became a symbol of the strength of the Zulu nation. Their victories were celebrated with grand ceremonies, where the warriors would gather to honor their fallen comrades and reaffirm their loyalty to Shaka. The Impi's courage in battle was legendary, and their reputation spread far and wide. Warriors from across Africa sought to join the ranks of the Zulu Impi, eager to prove themselves in the service of the king and to become part of something greater than themselves. Shaka Zulu, though a brilliant leader, was also a man of contradictions. His leadership style was both revered and feared. He was uncompromising in his pursuit of excellence, and his warriors knew that failure was not an option. Shaka demanded the highest level of discipline and loyalty from his men, and any act of cowardice or disobedience was met with swift punishment. His strictness, though harsh, was what ensured that the Zulu Impi remained the most formidable force in southern Africa. But beneath his stern exterior, Shaka was a visionary who understood the power of unity. He knew that the strength of the Zulu Impi did not lie solely in their weapons or their tactics, but in their unshakable bond with one another. He instilled in his warriors a sense of belonging, making them feel that they were part of something much larger than themselves. The Zulu Impi were not just soldiers. They were a family, bound by a shared purpose and an unbreakable trust in their king. Over time, Shaka's reign would come to an end, and the Zulu kingdom would face new challenges. Yet, the legend of the Zulu Impi lived on, carried by the warriors who had fought under Shaka's banner. The teachings of the Impi, the importance of loyalty, honor, and unity, became the foundation of Zulu culture. Even as the world changed, the spirit of the Zulu Impi endured, inspiring future generations to stand tall in the face of adversity and to honor the sacrifices of those who came before them. The legacy of the Zulu Impi was not just one of war and conquest, but the resilience of the human spirit. It was a reminder that strength comes not from the weapons we wield, but from the bonds we share. The Zulu Impi were more than just warriors. They were a living testament to the power of unity, a force that could not be broken, no matter the challenge. In the hearts of the Zulu people, the memory of the Impi lives on, passed down from one generation to the next. Their victories, their sacrifices, and their unwavering loyalty to their king and their people continue to inspire the youth of Zululand today. The legend of the Zulu Impi is not just a tale of the past, but a living story that reminds us all of the strength that comes from standing together. Through the passage of time, the Zulu Impi have become more than just a military force. They have become a symbol of the power of unity, the unyielding spirit of the Zulu nation, and the enduring legacy of Shaka Zulu. Their story, told and retold in the songs and stories of the people, continues to shape the identity of the Zulu people and their place in the world. The Zulu Impi may have been forged in the fires of battle, but it was their unity that made them legendary. And as long as the sun continues to rise over the hills of Zululand, The story of the Zulu Impi will live on, an eternal testament to the strength of the human spirit and the power of loyalty, honor, and unity.